6 o'clock. So
Yeah, thank you, Tom. I'm looking to see if we have a quorum. Let's see. I asked this last time, but how many?
I see 7 board members, I think.
Right. And let's see, our new members, Kyle is here, and but I don't see Devin.
Not yet.
Not yet. Do we give him another 30 seconds? If we have, but 7 is a quorum, is it? I forget.
Yes, 7 is because I see Phil, Ellen, Roger, Renee, Kyle, Jenny, and Claire.
Right. No, that's good. That's good.
And I'll welcome Sue Fahey, our interim VPFO, or whatever you are, I think.
It says here, Vice President for Finance and Operations.
Correct. Thank you. It's good to be here.
So she's had a whole week here, so she knows exactly what's going on.
Right. Anybody who knows everything about a job in a week is a very, very fast study.
So I don't see a Devin on the list, the list that I sent out invitations to.
Uh-oh. Has Devin not been invited to this meeting?
Devin should be on that list, Randy, but they also did not respond to me, so I might need to do some additional outreach.
Would you mind sending him another email, Megan, with the Zoom link, just in case?
That would have to come from Randy.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And Randy, I think, is the one called Media Services.
You're correct.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. All right.
I don't think I've got his contact
joining.
information though.
Yeah.
Megan, do you have contact information for him?
Yep, I'll send it over.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so
I
much.
see a few more people joining, so I think we'll want to.
Okay, we definitely have a quorum. Jenny, Henry, Amanda, Carrie. Okay. Good evening. My name is Phil Barnhart. I am the chairman of the Bond Oversight Committee of the Lane Community College, and this is a meeting of. We are beginning a meeting of the committee for the purpose of modifying, approving, and sending on to the board our annual report. That's the point of the meeting today. And let me introduce Kyle. I'm going to mess this up, Kyle. Is it Relion? Something like that?
It's Relon. Like
Relon. So it's pronounced just the way it looks. Thank you so much.
I always tell people, I'm not AstroTurf, I'm Relon.
Relon. Okay, that's great. Kyle comes to us as credit analyst at Northwest Community Credit Union. He's a strong advocate for community colleges and is looking forward to being a part of the growth and development of Lane Community College. Welcome, Kyle. Thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for applying to serve on this committee. The other member who may or may not have actually been notified of the meeting is Devin Lawson. He comes to us from Mackenzie High School, where they served on the Mackenzie High School Technology Committee as associate student body business manager and as the sophomore class president. They just finished their first term at Lane Community College as a student in the Aviation Unmanned Aircraft Systems program. And the couple of us who, when he gets here, we'll have to say hello. A couple of us attended the groundbreaking a few days ago, where we had an opportunity to observe the work of the Unmanned Aviation Systems program while I flew some drones overhead during the celebration. Thank you all so much. I assume that everyone has received a copy of the memorandum dated June 12th. It's 3 pages altogether, including a note from me, the Bond Oversight Committee annual report, 2 pages of that. And so the point of this meeting now is to review that report, see if it's accurate and adequate, and once we finish with it, send it on to the board for their meeting in July. So I think what we should do probably is open a conversation about the report and see what people want to do with it. Who would like to go first? I should say that Tom wrote an initial draft. I reviewed it, made some suggested changes. He made a couple more changes. And so that's the status of it. There is nothing sacrosanct about the draft that you have. If there are things that should be changed or improved or added on, we should do that. So who would like to go first to talk about that? And if no one does, it may be a very short meeting tonight, which should be fine with me.
Well, I thought, this is Brett, I thought it was a good memo. The thing that I really appreciated is that it covered the range of things that we have looked at and the confidence that the committee has in the LCC staff, because to me, those go hand in hand. If you don't have the confidence in the people managing the work, then you really can't stand back and say, they're doing a great job, you're on track. So I think the conclusions in the report are right on. And I appreciate the recognition that you created for the staff themselves. That's important to me.
Yeah, I completely agree with that comment. And as long as you like it, I'm pretty happy with that too. Other comments, and particularly, I mean, this is our chance to be nitpicky if we want to before it goes to the board. Barry.
Hi, can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
So I put a question out, it was late last night, and the only comment I had was towards the end of the conclusion, it talked about we're at about a 68% we've expended of the allocated funds that's either been expended or encumbered. And my question was, that's okay, but it really doesn't tell us where we're at in the project as far as, are we on schedule? Are we over budget? And so there's a couple of different standard things that you can look at that. And I was wondering if anybody had a chance, I don't know if it was Tom or somebody had a chance to look up those numbers for me.
Tom, go ahead. Yeah.
I'll give it a try here for you, Terry. I think, as far as project schedules, we're on schedule. Florence, the overall delivery is a little bit delayed due to material delays due to COVID. It's coming in on budget. The overall, when we get to, and other projects are also on schedule for what's been promised along the way here. The health professions building is currently tracking per the contractor schedule, and they're actually projecting to be able to turn that building over to us early, with ahead of what their contract requirements currently are. The ITEC project in Building 12 is again on schedule. We're just breaking ground here, so that's moving forward as planned. Budgets have come in where they projected, while we have a lot of unknowns ahead of us because construction's still going on. From the cost side of the equation, the original projections were based on overall broad costing. One of the goals was to try and get 70 million expensed with the tax exempt bonds. When I was told that, we didn't know that we made it, but we exceeded the encumbrance, which when we've talked to our bond advisors, our legal advisors, says that is one that you even looked at that was a good thing. But the fact that we have it encumbered well beforehand and exceeded that with this number is a very positive. Our expenses are below our projections. Our encumbrances are well above our projections. So it's where we're at with multiple projects. I like to think of it, we're pretty close to on track with a lot of parts moving, it's hard to say whether I'm right on track or not. But does that help you, Terry?
Terry?
Yeah, I guess, well, I guess the question is, if you're at 68% of the funds have been allocated or encumbered, can you hear me? Okay?
Yes, you're
Yeah.
coming through.
You might turn off
So
your
if 68%
video.
of the funds have been encumbered or I'm at a horrible place for reception. I'm not sure whether you can hear me.
Yeah, Terry, if you turn off your video, we'll probably get more of your bandwidth coming on the audio. And you are freezing every once in a while, so
Okay,
there's, where
Okay.
the camera,
So-
click on that and it will put a red line through it.
yeah,
And then we'll
Yeah,
probably be able to
okay.
hear you then.
Let's give him a chance.
so I stopped my video. Can
Much
you hear
better.
Much better, yes.
me any better? Okay, so the question is you're at 68% of your funds have been expended, but
Oh,
Well, it looks
we
like
lost him.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Terry, are you there?
He is now on mute as well.
Okay.
So I'd like just to add a comment around Terry's concern. And
Brad, go ahead and then we'll get back to Terry.
okay, yeah, his concern is a good one, but in terms of a report to the board, I think we have to be keeping in mind that this is a high-level review of what the college is doing. The danger, I think, is the minute you dip into the weeds, it gets too confusing for policymakers. And I'm speaking from having worked in public service for all of my career. And so I think by saying that we're on track and that you've either expended or encumbered the funds that you have, and you alluded, Tom, to the arbitrage issue, which I think is all good. I wouldn't recommend that we get into the weeds because I think it'll open way too many issues that people can pick at because there's information there that is really quite hard to understand in some ways or put into perspective unless you have the whole picture of what's gone on. So I think the summary is appropriate. And I think that's reinforced in the conclusion that says, as a committee, we view that the college and their staff has done a great job of staying on budget and on schedule. That's my 2 bits for it.
Right. Terry, are you back? Can you, did you want to add additional comment?
yeah, so I think that, again, my concern is that we're at 68% of our funds, but where are we at in the percentage of what it's going to take to finish? I mean, are we 68? I mean, in an ideal world, you're 68% of the way through the project, you've completed everything, and you've expended 68% of your funds. But are we? Is it going to cost more to finish the project than what we actually have budgeted? I mean, are we at, say, for example, are we at 40% of everything that has been completed, but we've expended 68% of our budget? See what I'm saying is that's my concern, is if we're not looking at that cost variance, then you don't know whether you're going to be able to complete your budget on time, at what you budgeted at. You won't be able to complete the project.
Roger, please. And Terry, we're
Brad's
getting
comments are very well taken. I
behind you, so
think because
thank
Terry
you.
hasn't had a chance to be with us at a regular meeting of the committee. This meeting tonight is to review the report to the board as opposed to reviewing the progress and the status of the thing. the kind of information that Terry is alluding to at this point, at least in my mind, occurs at our regular meetings when we go through the projects list with the construction management staff, capital project staff. And we see the bar charts, we see the arbitrage timing schedule, we see the percentage of obligation out there that is part of our regular work. But the report to the board is a once a year report to say the committee is doing its job.
Right, and of course, the conclusion does say exactly that. Does someone else would like to speak? And I'm hearing something, but I don't know where it's coming from. Alan, your hand is up. Please.
Hi. Yes, thank you. I'm pretty happy with the report as it's standing. I understand Terry's concerns, but I like the notion about watch out for the weeds. That's for sure. And I particularly like the reference to the fact that we paid attention with the staff. And if I was going to do any kind of editing change, I would put in something even more direct about how satisfied we are, because I'm personally very satisfied with how staff has reported to us and how they've kept up with our questions. And overall, I feel that staff really worked in partnership with us. And perhaps that's something we should make sure that the LCC board understands. That's just a thought.
Right now, I just as a note on that issue, it is included in the long paragraph in my cover letter.
Good.
We look forward to the continued high quality support of the committee's review. That's not what I meant. There's a reference in here to staff. The LCC team has remained steadfast in keeping the vision and promises of the bond program. The decision making, which I think is pretty good. I'm not sure. It's not exactly what you're talking about that. Okay, we in the second paragraph under the title report.
Alan, you're muted. You might have been saying something.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Alan, did you have something?
Yeah, I was just trying to catch up. I'm trying to do this from the country as well, and sometimes my readings of these things get murky. You did cover it in that first page, and thank you for it. I think you covered it just fine.
Okay.
The reference to the staff.
Right. There was a concern about the reference to the Florence, and of course that's included in the third paragraph under the heading report on the first page of the annual report. But we did make a number of comments, I thought, about staff and what we thought of their quality, and I think I certainly agree with Alan with your comments about the value of the staff very much. Other comments or concerns that people would like to voice? If not, are you ready to have a motion to approve the suggested memorandum and report as distributed to you earlier?
Yes,
So
I move that we, accept the report as is and forward on.
Brad moves the report. And is there a second?
I'll second that. This is
Claire
Claire.
seconds. Any further discussion? Is there anybody opposed to that motion? Would those who are in favor raise their hand or otherwise signal that they're in favor of it? The people who don't have their cameras on are going to have to do something else. Maybe a thumbs up would work. If you approve of it. Henry went off. Here's Henry. Henry's saying yes. I'm getting heads up from Amanda and Jenny. Okay, I think it's unanimous. Tom, do you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom is on mute, but
Yep, I think Amanda's thumb up, it keeps floating by, so.
yeah, that's what that is. Okay. I wondered what that was going by. All right. Well, that's good.
Well, thank you, everyone. I appreciate the kind words.
Well, may I simply add to that we've had a lot of discussions at several of our meetings in the last, I think it's 2 years now, isn't it?
Mhm.
We've had a lot of questions and a lot of concerns about issues that are being raised. And I will say that I have really enjoyed serving on this committee because people keep coming up with issues that hadn't occurred to me. That's either an indication that I'm not as smart as I think I am, or that there are lots of issues out there that we need to discuss, and we have been doing that. So I want to thank you so much.
Yeah.
Unless there is other business, and I might put him on the spot here if Kyle is still here.
I see Brad has his hand, but I'd
Oh,
like to.
sorry,
speak.
Brad, go ahead, please.
Well, I worked with Chris.
Let me just finish quickly and say the motion is approved
Yes.
unanimously. And so that should go in the minutes. And now, Brad, it's your turn.
Yeah, well, I was fortunate enough to work with Chris Pryor and Rosie, both at the city of Eugene. And I ran into Rosie the other day, who's on the board. And we had a nice discussion, and she asked me, how is the bond review committee going? And I was able to tell her without reservation that, the things that the college is doing is in line with what they said they were going to do, and that the staff that they have is a remarkable staff for doing such a great job and being responsive to questions that the committee has had. That we haven't had controversy, we've just had a lot of support, we've learned a lot, and we support them. So.
Thank you so much for doing that. I had a similar conversation with Rosie at the groundbreaking, and with a similar input. Someone else had a hand up. I think it was it Tom? Sorry.
Yes, I just wanted to say for these new people, we've got Kyle and Terry and some of these. My next job is to get you an update for my quarter. That will be an email update that you'll start to see some of the reporting that we're doing going back. Much of that, I encourage you folks to go back on our boards docs, and I'm sure Megan can help you if you have questions, if you email her to how to get into board docs and find some of those past documents. So when I turn something in, you can go back and look and see if I'm still kind of saying the same thing, or where you can bust me. And I see Brad laughing, but I really am trying to be as consistent as one can be in a 7-year construction process with multiple projects.
Tom, there's no busting in what you're doing. You're doing a great job.
Yes, I agree.
I do appreciate that from you, Brad, because I know you've been through.
Yeah.
You've had I hear you had a similar job to what I have here for various
I've
things.
sat in your chair.
Well, can I simply add to that I appreciate Tom and Megan's work, and I look forward to appreciating Susan's work for this committee, and also, of course, obviously for the projects that they're working on. I also am looking forward to the hard hat visits and the other visits that now that we actually have something to go see, which we didn't at first. I'm looking forward to attending some of those. So, and I'm sure Megan will keep us up to date on when those are and what our options are. Is there anything else tonight, or can we set a record by adjourning early? I don't see anything except head nods. Thank you all so much for coming tonight. Susan, thank you for joining us tonight. We look forward to working with you as you get acclimatized to your new job, and we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you all for a great job.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thank
your
you.
comments. Good night.
Right.